What's going on, guys? It's Kona, and welcome back to another one of my manga videos. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Chainsaw Man the manga, part 1. I had already made a video and edited and uploaded and everything and was prepared to, publicize it, but I didn't like the way the video came out, so I decided to redo my review on it as a whole. The way that I'm going to structure these types of videos, I'm going to go through a brief summary of what the story is kind of about, not go too far into detail so I don't spoil too much for anybody. I'm going to break down the entire manga into different subjects and then give my critiques and explain why I gave those scores for each individual thing, and then my score overall for the entire manga. Before we dive into the video, make sure that you're using code FRONT when you buy your G Fuel purchases. It will be rain soon. We'll go ahead and notify you guys once it transfers over, but use code FRONT for right now for 10 to 30% off. Make sure to use code KANA for purchasing any mouse or keyboards from altcustoms.com. And without further ado, let's get into the video. To start this off, this is a story about a young boy named Denji with his little dog named Pochito, which is the dog with the chainsaw sticking out of its face. Denji's father passes away, so he has a bunch of debt that Denji has to pay off, and through some hardship and stuff, he creates a contract with Pochita and they become one. Like I said, I didn't want to spoil anything, so I'm just not going into depth as much as I can. Eventually, he's picked up by Makima, who is head of Division 4 for Public Safety. Through the story, he meets a couple other of the main characters, one of them being Aki. He's more of a mature, kind of stern character, but he does eventually kind of loosen up to both Denji, and then eventually they introduce Power, who is a fiend. Technically, she's a blood fiend, and she kind of brings more of a personality to the division as a whole, because I feel like if it wasn't that, it would just be Denji chasing after girls all the time and Aki just being the weirdo that he is. To go more into detail on Makima, she's kind of a mysterious woman nobody knows about, but everybody's pretty much afraid of her, and they eventually reveal more and more of her story as the time goes on. The way that I'm going to break down this review is going to be into 3 categories. I'm going to do character development, story / plot, and then third, the art style and what I think of the art as a whole. I think these are basically the 3 most important parts of a manga, at least to me. And then I will give my overall score. The whole thing will be scored out of 5. So without further ado, let's get into the actual review process. To start off with character development, I think all of the characters were developed really well. Everybody had their own backstory and they filled into where their position is within the story. Aki being, making him super committed to his work for reasons I don't want to, exactly spoil. Denji, because, well, I mean, he's a different style character than we're not used to seeing. I feel like a majority of the main characters have kind of like a Harlem style where all the girls kind of flock to him. I'm thinking of Kirito from Sword Art Online or Belle from Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. That's the kind of main character I'm used to seeing, but this is a different one where he's kind of just skirt chasing. I don't know. It's interesting. Him and Power are a great team, I think, overall. Power definitely, like I said earlier, brings a lot of personality to the storyline. And then her background and just the way she kind of acts in dynamic with the rest of the group is awesome. Makima, I feel like they could have done more with her. I think there wasn't enough backstory for her. I mean, they eventually describe what, a lot of the things that they, kind of leave mysterious throughout the comic, which I understand. I mean, you want to make something like her backstory is kind of like a mystery to be a surprise towards the end, but I feel like they could have done a lot more with her character. I think Aki is a great character for trying to be basically the dad for both Power and Denji. They make a really good trio. There's other characters throughout the story, but these are the 4 main characters. So for character development, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, that one thing, if Makima had a little bit of more of a backstory and a little bit more involvement with the story throughout it, because she's there for a lot of the main events, but she's not there kind of in between. I don't know. Either way, it's just my opinion. That's why I give it a 4 out of 5, is because of that reason. On to the next part, which is going to be the storyline. Storyline was phenomenal. I think they did a great job of kind of building up Denji as a character and creating the story around him, and there was never a dull moment throughout this entire story. So I give this one a 5 out of 5 on the story. It was phenomenal. I read part 1 in a matter of 2 days. It was such a good book. I could not put it down. I can't wait to see what they do with the next parts. Hopefully those parts come out soon. And next up, we're going to be doing the art style. So in my opinion, the art style was awesome for the kind of vibe they're giving for this kind of anime / manga. Art style is sloppy, but it's not at the same time. I think they kind of made it more grunge-esque. I'm a big fan of the way that they kind of incorporated this art style with this manga, because this manga is supposed to be so grungy and so dark. I think this worked out really well, even though it's kind of a sloppier art style. It still looks amazing. I mean, I still enjoy it, and they have their moments where they make it like cutesy, and they have their moments where they make it super gruesome and like dark and well detailed in that aspect. So the art style, I'm gonna give a 4 out of 5. It's not obviously the most detailed as, like, you know, it is a lot of other art styles, but it's still so fitting to this story in this manga. So I give it a 4 out of 5. My overall for this manga is definitely a 4 out of 5 as well. I think I'm very partial to this, and I think it's gonna hold a place in my heart for a while. I can't wait for the next stuff to come out for it. It's gonna definitely keep me occupied for a while. If you guys have any mangas or animes that you want me to watch or read, let me know down in the comment section below. I would definitely try and read and watch as many as I can and give my honest opinion on them. I am always open to trying new mangas and animes. I've been looking for new stuff to watch and new stuff to read all the time. I use the Shonen Jump app a lot if you guys are wondering where I read my mangas at. And then most of the time I watch my animes through multiple sources, Crunchyroll, Hulu. Hulu has a phenomenal selection on their animes. Netflix is okay. It's not the best, but they have some of their originals, which you don't see anywhere else. And those are like my main sources. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that noti bell so you get a notification for my next upload. I'm hoping to upload a Way Out video this Friday that I did with Zinc, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for watching. Peace.
The weather is never better. It is too damn hot, getting fed up.